So in this video, I'm going to tell you 3 common lies that I hear clinics tell their clients all the time. I'm going to explain exactly why these are a load of rubbish. By the end of this video, you're going to be that much closer to finding your perfect clinic. I promise you. Keep watching. Watching My Hair Implants, the best YouTube channel on all things hair transplant. My name is Jabril. What do you mean you still haven't subscribed? Welcome back. My name is Jabril. I've been away for a while. I had a little one, so I think that's a good excuse to be away for a while. Now, let's crack on with the video. So the first common lie is FUT is outdated. Seriously, this is one of my favorite lies that clinics tell these days, especially unfortunately in Turkey. FUT is not outdated. So FUT stands for follicular unit transplantation. So it's correct, this is an older technique. It was pioneered, I think, in the 70s or something. And it's when a strip of hair is taken from the donor area and transplanted into the recipient area, compared to FUE, which is when you kind of take out the grafts one by one manually. So it is correct, FUT is older technique, but it's not outdated. In fact, FUT gives better results than FUE for some clients, especially those with advanced hair loss. FUT does have some drawbacks, the main one being the fact that it leaves a scar. FUT is definitely not outdated, and it's better than FUE in 2 scenarios. Number one, it usually gives better density. So the result you get with FUT is always has more density compared to FUE. So this is really great news for people with a big area to cover, who are not bothered about leaving a scar or anything like that. It's a great news for them. It's a great option for them to go for the FUT. And the second scenario is FUT usually gives a better survival rate because you're kind of taking out the whole strip with the hair, still implanted. So usually the survival rate of FUT is very, very high and a lot higher than FUE. The only reason clinics are telling you that FUT is outdated is because they don't have the expertise to do it. They don't know how to do it. So obviously they don't want to tell you that, oh, FUT is a good option for you, because you're going to say, oh, do you do FUT? No, actually we don't do FUT. Okay, thank you. I'm going to go to a different clinic. They don't want that scenario. They don't want to lose you as a customer. So it's in their interest to tell you that FUT is outdated when they really mean is, we don't know how to do it. We don't do it. So next time a clinic tells you that FUT is outdated, challenge them. Say, no, actually it's not outdated. It's actually better for some clients because it gives better density and it's got a higher survival rate. They're gonna be like, oh my God, this guy knows what he's talking about, and they're not gonna really mess you about because they know that you've done your homework. Now let's move on to myth number 2, which is DHI gives better results than FUE. Rubbish. It might give better results for some patients, but to this day there's not been there's been almost no studies done comparing DHI to FUE or FUT that have conclusively proven that DHI gives superior results. They don't exist. These studies have not been done. If they have been done, share it in the links below, and I promise you I'll make a separate video about them. And I bet you anything, nobody's gonna find those studies. DHI, I think, was pioneered by some company, I can't remember their name, and basically compared to FUE, basically you take the graft and you insert it one by hand. With DHI I think you load up the graft into some sort of a tool like a pen, and then you inject it, sort of inject it into the scalp. So that's why they call it direct hair implantation, DHI. And a lot of clinics market it as being superior, but this has no basis in truth. And think about it. If DHI was so good, then you'll find all the clinics everywhere, Turkey, the US, the UK, South America, North America, everywhere, they will adopt it, because the hair transplant industry is not that big. When something really good comes on, then it gets adopted by everybody, because nobody wants to miss on the marketing and the customers coming to them because they offer DHI. Let me give you an example. A few years ago when Invisalign came on, those braces that are invisible, within 2 or 3 years they just spread like wildfire. Literally every single orthodontist that does braces, they offer Invisalign as an option. Why? Because it's proven, because it does the job, it does what it says on the tin. So again, if DHI was that good, it would have been adopted by every single clinic. Line number 3 is actually my favorite, and this one is maximum grafts. So I see a lot of brochures of clinics saying how many grafts they're gonna do on the client, and it says maximum grafts. What does that even mean? Maximum grafts what? What is the maximum? What is the number? And what do you keep going until when? You just don't know. This is a polite way for the clinic to say that they don't know how many grafts the client needs, so they're just gonna keep going until it kind of looks good, and then they'll stop, which is ridiculous. This is why when I say maximum grafts, I say no. We either agree a specific number of grafts, or I'm going to a different clinic. It's simple as that. And basically, this sometimes just shows a lack of knowledge, because if you know the area that needs to be covered, the bald area, right? And you know your natural density, hopefully you have some donor hair left, maybe around the back, so you can work out the natural density, approximately the natural density that would match with what you have at the back of the head. Any trichologist can work this out for you. If you know the natural density of the client and you know the area you need to cover, it doesn't take a genius in maths to work out roughly how many grafts will do the job. It's not that hard. So when I hear this maximum graft business, I say no, you just don't know what you're doing, because we need something a bit more specific. I'm not saying you have to be to the last graft number, but at least you should have some ballpark figure.